everybody. My name is Coach Rachel K. I'm a women's self-love and healthy relationship coach. I help women to do the work to heal, y'all. We gotta heal so we can get to a place of self-love and we can have healthy relationships, not only with others, but most importantly with ourselves. Because the relationship we have with ourselves sets the trajectory of the relationships that we have with others. So today, y'all, I just wanted to go over this Kevin Samuels video that was posted and it went viral. Now, this is not a video where I'm going to drag Kevin Samuels because my platform is all about healing, y'all. I'm done work. I'm still doing work on me. And when you get to a place of healing, you do not. And I just want to make this very clear again. For everybody who thinks that they are healed or, they aren't in a negative space, you're not attracted to, you don't find any type of comfort in engaging in negative energy. So the platform over there, I would say in my opinion, is very negative because it has this cover up that it's supposed to, uplift men and women, but at the same time, you cannot uplift somebody and tear them down. I'm just here to sow wisdom. I'm here to, empower. I'm here to uplift, and I'm here to, go about it in a loving manner because your hate only gets hate. Okay. So let me just start off by saying I watched the video in its entirety. When I first watched it, you know how they like to minimize and edit and give you what will be sensationalizing to, the audience. So of course, what they gave us most definitely was like, what? He saw her, he done cussed at her and so. And then I went back and I watched the full video. So now I just want to give you, from a healing point of view, my take on how we need to do our healing so we won't be in a position like that, and her as well, if she sees this video, so she can see as well. So I have my notes right here. The girl called in. So this is my thing. We do not call in to others to find out things about ourselves. We do not need to go to others to figure out who we are. If you know me, you can tell me how I am as a person. You can say, oh, Rachel's, she's this, or Rachel has a lot of personality, or, Rachel may be, quick to snap back, or, Rachel may be, whatever somebody may want to use to describe me if I say, how am I? But who am I? That's something I have to go within to find out. So her first mistake, and what a lot of us do when we are not in a place where we're working on ourselves in a place of self-love, is we go outward for validation. And the only place that you will get for sure validation is inward. Because if you come to me so that I can tell you who you are, then that means tomorrow you're going to come back to me. And if I'm not a good person, if I'm in a bad space, if I need to heal, if I'm carrying a bunch of anger, then you're going to get some negativity. So it may be 90% a good picture that you got going on. But I promise you, if I'm on a negative frequency, then I'm going to point out the other 10% and I'm going to make you feel the other 10% that is negative. I'm not going to magnify the 90% and then let you know about the 10% and give you, constructive criticism, not just me pointing at you, but me telling you, well, but how about you do this? Or how about you do this? Or I tried this and this worked for me. So when you call into a platform to someone who you already see berate people, not just women, but he does it to men too, then it's like you got to go within because you're basically getting what you ask for. So she called in she called in to find out why she always has issues with men when she's on dates, or why is she always attracting the type of guys that want a part of her business. So I'll start off with saying this. Ladies, this is a part of doing your healing journey, because a part of your healing journey is going to take for you to get back to who you really are. And that feminine essence is what is there. Over time, we have become more masculine because that's how life dealt us the cards. It's single mothers. You watch your mother do it. You watch your grandmother do it. You watch the women in your life. It's messaging on TV. And especially as it relates to us as black women, we got to be strong. It's just the black women always got to fight. The black woman is always on the front line. No, I don't want you on the front line anymore. I want you to heal, and I want you to get closer to that feminine essence. So when you're on dates with guys, you don't have to come to the table laying out your portfolio of I did, and I get it. Like, I know you wear it like a badge of honor, because since we have been dealt these cards where we've had such messaging and conditioning that we're supposed to be this strong Black woman, and we're supposed to be able to, take on the reins and make sure everybody okay, and I'm supposed to feed, and I'm supposed to clean, and I'm supposed to nurture, and I'm supposed to cater to, and I gotta be a doctor for the kids, and I gotta do everything with the school, and then I still gotta go to work, and then most times we doing part-time jobs, or more than one job. That has you in your masculine because you're always doing. So you wear it as a badge of honor because, yeah, I know that I'm supposed to be feminine, but I don't see femininity anywhere around me. What I see is that people in survival mode, that's the messaging that I've got, and I'm in survival mode because that's what my life has me in. And I'm proud of my accomplishments. And that's fine. If we want to do a round table with our girls and be like, girl, yes, you starting your business. But I want to give you a little secret. For ladies that are trying to attract a masculine man, and I want to go on a limb and say that what you want to do is get a masculine man with great character. If you want a masculine man, how can he come in and provide and do those things for you if you're already putting it in his face that this is what I did? So this is the thing. Sometimes we want to be so emotional and we want to argue everything. Well, he shouldn't care. Well, sometimes you just got to strategize and play to win. So this is my thing. The same way that she and other women, because even in my coaching, I've had several women that will say, when I tell a man that I had this, he tries to jump onto what I'm doing. Like the same thing that she was saying, he wants a part of my business. You don't tell a man what you have. You need to be there to be very discerning of the man that you're on a date with, because if you're dating for forever, we're talking about forever with the person. I need to ask questions that matter, because I tell my ladies this. When you are dating for a relationship, you need to treat it like you're in the fourth quarter of a game. I don't have time to play around. So I need to know what it is that we align on and what we don't. And if that's something like my morals, my values, then we know that it's just not going to work. Why am I wasting my time, right? So if you feel that if you value a man who is masculine, who's going to come into your life and who's going to provide and protect and be that strong, counterpart that you need, have all of the strength that you've been having to display throughout your life, you have to make room for him. But you don't want to make room for him because you want to argue that you shouldn't have to hide what you have to do, and women will say that in coaching sessions, and it's like, but if a man comes to you and he's trying to get onto your business, you perceive that as him not being a masculine man. You perceive that as a man that's trying to lash on what you have. The same way when a masculine man is taking you out, he's trying to get to know you, and you like, I do this, I started 7 business, I do this, I make this much. He's perceiving that as like, are you trying to challenge me? And you may not know, and that's why you're doing it, but that's why I'm here to teach you, and that's why I'm telling you. You got to strategize. If you want a man that's going to come in and be masculine, then you got to tone down your masculinity. So that ties into the healing, because we got to get back to a feminine essence. Like, we really have to get back to our femininity, because if I have a masculine man and then you have me who's very masculine, we're just going to be bumping heads. And you can't expect for a masculine man to sidestep the struggle and not be masculine, because that is natural for him. He's been doing what's natural. You're not. You're doing what life made you into. Life made you into a masculine woman. It strips you of all of your femininity, honey, and you're just doing. You providing, you holding the roof over the head. And I know what that feels like, because I'm a single mother and I've had to provide for myself and provide for her. And I know it feels like, I'm doing what I got to do, because at the end of the day, an accomplishment is an accomplishment, no matter what it's for. That's just what it is. So it feels good, but it feels better when you get into your feminine. And that doesn't mean that you won't have to do stuff, because if there's nobody else there, then you got to do it. I mean, that means that you are just more feminine in what you're doing. If somebody comes along and they want to help you do something, you let them do it. You use your resources so you won't have to do anything. So, for me, I like to do things, but I don't want to do it forever. I just want to know that I can do it. So I painted my bathroom when we were on quarantine, and I did a good job, but it's nothing that I'll ever do again, because it took a lot of work. I felt like I was really in my masculine. I'm trying to step up on top of the ladder, and I'm all stepping on the toilet, and I'm draping everything. And it was fun to do, because I've never painted a space by myself. I've painted with a friend of mine, and he was teaching me how to do it, and he was doing it. But this time I actually did it by myself. So it's like, okay, I did it. But that's not something that I'm trying to do all the time. I'll use my resources, my money, so that I can get what I need painted. Or if I had somebody that can do it for me, I'll do it. But a lot of times when we're not masculine, it's I'll do it, I got it. And you bring that energy. You don't have to be saying it, ladies. Your energy speaks volumes. You bring that energy onto a date with the man, and it's like, well, where am I supposed to be at? Because you're masculine enough already. And especially if you're talking about a masculine man. Now, if you're talking about a man that's not masculine, more of maybe, what they say, like a beta male, somebody that just wants to lash on, now you're not going to get that energy. What you're going to get is, oh, she got all of this, she got 7. Well, how can I be a part of it? You need a receptionist? Oh, for real? Well, you know how I used to do? Well, I'm here to help you with that any way you want. And he want to help. It's the difference between a man saying he wants to help you to become more of what you're doing over here, or he wants to pour into what you're doing, and that's still you. And then there's a man who wants to make himself a part of it. And when he says, I'll help you, that's what he means. If you want a masculine man, that's not it. But if you want a man that's going to step in and be that masculine component that you've been missing, you have got to work to get into your feminine, ladies. You have to. I mean, think about it. If you were a man, you're in your masculine right now, right? So you know how it feels to be masculine. You're turned off by men who aren't in their masculine because you see it as weak. Because even though you're a woman, and we always have masculine and feminine energy, but you want to stay more in your feminine. But since you've been more in your masculine, and I can relate, you look at men who present themselves, who we perceive as being weak, it's like, I do this, I do all that, why he can't do it? So that's the same way that a man looks when he looks at you. And you're being macho woman, super woman, you got your big strong arm, you ready for combat and war. Don't worry about it, I'll do this. You want to do everything for a man. I'm going to put gas in your car. No, I'll drop. You want to do everything. Sit back and allow a masculine man to come in, for him to see that feminine essence that you have going on, that very nurturing, soft feminine essence, and allow him to come in and provide. Because deep down, that's what you really want. So I just wanted to give you all that because that was a question that she had and it never got answered. That was one thing that I can say about the video. Like, the question never got answered. He basically went on it and took it from that, and it was like a spin, and it was all a downward spiral from there. Like, well, do you know any men that make 6 figures? Do you know, like, where do you meet these men at? So you're not meeting any other men, so these are the ones that you're meeting, so it's telling you something. And it's like, ladies, that's the answer. Don't go on dates putting out your portfolio. I have this, I have that. Keep it to yourself. Girl, congratulate yourself. Because guess what? The less that he sees that you have, that's the more that he can come in and do. And even if you do have a business, that doesn't mean that a masculine man won't want to deal with you because he had one, because he wouldn't see that a masculine man who is very mature. I'm not talking about high value man, because I'm going to get into high value next. I don't subscribe to that high value mindset. I'm talking about a mature, awakened man who is not operating with his ego, right there on the surface. You have your business. Your business is not affecting me. That's your business. That's something you did for you. I can come in here and provide more in your life, but you just won't allow me to. So I'm going to back off, and I'm going to go somewhere where I don't feel like I have to put up a fight, where you're not bringing all of your baggage, where you're not bringing all of that residue from having to go out there and seek everything on your own and find everything on your own and accomplish stuff on your own and build on your own. And you don't realize you're bringing that energy, that baggage to the table. And he's just like, no, I'm good. I don't want this. Girl, keep it cute. Get back in touch with your feminine essence, because that is one thing that I had to do on my healing journey. I was so used to doing so much on my own and being so strong, and it really had me in survival mode. And there's nothing feminine about being in survival mode, because you got to think about it. Survival mode is basically like you're in the jungle. You're constantly watching your back. You're constantly protecting yourself. What's feminine about that? That's more the masculine. The feminine, she's at home. The masculine goes out there and does that. The feminine, she's at home, because when he comes home, now I want to nurture him. Now I want to give him love. Now I want to pour into him. Now I want to give him affirmations, because he's been out there. He's been in survival mode. That's not what I'm doing, right? I don't even think to be in survival mode, because that's just not who I am. Life can make us think, or life can make us operate in a way where we feel like, I got to be in survival mode. I got to watch my back. People don't want what's best for me. But when you get into your feminine and when you heal, you don't have to watch that anymore, because that's not the frequency that you're on. So I'm just going to finish this off, ladies, by saying, and I want to make it very clear, connect to your feminine. That is one of the most important things that you are going to need to do on your healing journey, is become more feminine. Stop being so argumentative. Get rid of the spirit of debate. Stop wanting to argue. You got to strategize. Like, what you want in life, if you want a man, a masculine man that's going to provide, that's going to marry you, and then you got to play your cards right in order to get it. And wanting to argue every single thing is just not going to get you there. And all of the arguing is only going to take you more into that dominance. And that's not what you want. Because at this point, if that's what you want, then you need to go and get the man that wants to be on your business. Because then y'all will be more balanced. You will be more and he will be more, right? You don't need the masculine man because y'all are going to be bumping heads. Like, if somebody's going to have to know when to fold. And I would never want to be with a masculine man that feels like he needs to not be masculine because I'm trying to fight him. No, go ahead and protect me. Do what you do. So the next thing that I want to talk about from the video and just the overall platform of Kevin Samuels and a lot of platforms on YouTube is, what is a high value man? So that's a question that I had. And that's a question that I had because, in my opinion, calling yourself a high value man or woman comes from a place of ego. Now, this is a very ego driven world. We are extremely self-absorbed and we do a lot of protecting ourselves. So it's an ego-driven world, and only from your ego would you need to constantly say, I'm a high-value man, I'm a high-value woman. You would never need to say that. Because when you get to a place where you are healed, when you get to a place where you are awakening, you see things for what it is, and you deal with your ego, you understand that it's only the ego that will have you believing that you're any better than another person just because of the amount of money that you make. I'm still lost on what exactly a high value man is, because it seems like they only talk about it in terms of money, which, okay, that explains the value. But y'all, a shirt could be of high value. A shirt could be $500, but it could be busting at the seam. So that means that's low quality, but it has a high value. So at the end of the day, I don't just want a man that's high value. I want a man that has that is high quality. And I want to be high quality myself. And that, while I'm doing my healing series, it's about healing. That's the place that you get to high quality. So a person has to lead with their money and has to talk about the fact that they are high value. A man is high value, or a woman who needs to lead with her looks and has to say that, I'm a high value woman. That is an ego. You don't want to deal with someone's ego. You will be going in circles. Honey, when somebody can't control their ego, they are going in circles. The ego does nothing but get in the way. It stops you from everything that you really want. The ego is a bully. The ego is like that insecure big child in elementary school, middle school, high school that bullies everybody else. But what you don't know is when they are alone in their room, they cry because they don't like themselves. When they are at home, they get teased because they're like the biggest one in the family. And it's when they come to school that they feel like, oh, let me put this ego on. This is a costume that I have on right now, right? This is my ego letting every single last one of y'all know that I don't play, I'm that, right? But you're really not that, because only the ego needs to be in the front seat, putting somebody else down, saying that I'm high value because of money, saying that I'm high value because of looks, and I deserve high value because of who I am. Nobody's better than the next person, but I understand that in a very ego-driven world, that's just the way it works. However, when you get to a place of healing, which I would very much advise that you get to a place of healing, then you go and date, that you will not be drawn to somebody whose ego is on the front. You actually will be able to tell that they are leading with their ego, because when you get to a place where you're doing your healing work, you have to go back on some things that you've been through. You have to go back on times that your ego was at the surface. And it's like, I didn't realize that was my ego all the time. And then you can point out somebody else's ego. So if a man is over here, like, I'm a high value man, I make 6 figures. It's like, brother, please, set it down. Set it down. That's your ego. Well, what else? What else about you? You have nothing else to offer. You have nothing else to offer. So the thing is, we don't want to get caught up in people that are, talking about I'm high value. What you want is a person that is of high quality. That's a person that has great character. Because at the end of the day, when a man is making 6 figures, like they say, that opens them up to more options, right? So I'm going to look down on people before that I didn't feel like I could look down on before, because it's all that looking down ain't nothing but an ego. That's all. That's why the whole conversation is about looking down. I'm going to look down on these people because now I'm at a higher level and I have more options. See, the thing about it is when your ego isn't in the way and you've done your work and you're secure, I don't need to look down on anybody, and I don't need a dollar amount to let me know that I'm able to get anybody to be in any crowds, because I don't need to. I am on my own enough, even without all that. All of that is extra. So I'm just lost on what exactly a high value man is, because I see a lot of people on these platforms pushing you all to deal with high value men, but it's like they're not telling you anything else. So you get a man with money, and a man with money has access to more resources. He has access to more women. And a man who's in his ego, who has to lead with the fact that he's high value because of his money, is going to be a problem. Because if I have to talk about the fact, if I'm so stuck on what I have financially, and that is a measure of who I am, I'm already messed up to begin with. So you're about to come into my shit show, because that's what it's going to be. And you're going to be wrapped up in it just as well. Everything is going to be about a measure of my money. And Lord, don't let me lose the money that I had that made me believe that I was high value and better than another person, because you're really going down with me. Because if I measure myself by my money, if I'm only high value because of my money or because of my looks, then what happens when all of that goes away? A person that has done their work understands that all of that stuff is extra. Like, I'm me without 6 figures or with 6 figures. And there's not a person out here who can tell me that, because I'm very secure within myself. I go inward to get what I need. And I don't care if another person says that I'm not good enough, I'm not beautiful enough. We're getting too caught up into things that do not matter. And you are assigning onto platforms where people are basically profiting off of your pain, because they talk about dusties and dust bunnies or whatever it is. And then they get y'all all triggered, and they talk about the very things that they know you're gonna cling to. Because when you're in a negative frequency and you have some pain, when I start to talk about your pain, I'm summoning you. Right? You're a single mother. Let me sit over here and talk about single mothers and how single mothers always got to stress. You don't need to be logging into this, because what you need to be worrying about is being at the best quality that you can be, because you're a single mother, because you have to take care of these children on your own. You have to do all of this. You don't need another negative nothing to pull you down. But because you're in a negative space, whether you want to believe it or not, and this person is coming over here with this negative content, you're going to be drawn in. So you sit and you watch this video, and it's like, yeah, single mother. Oh, she understands, she gets it, but you're left with nothing. You're left with nothing. So the whole thing is, when you do this whole, high value man, what is it? I don't get it, because don't get me wrong, honey. I like a man that's going to provide, right? I absolutely love it. But what else does he do? How does he talk to me? Does he love me? Does he respect me? Does he provide for me emotionally, mentally, spiritually? If I'm having a rough day at work, can I actually sit down and have a conversation with this man where he's going to be engaged, because that's how much he really, wants to be a part of what's going on in my life? Or is it just like, I got to get to this money, because he knows that he's a high value man because of his money, and because he needs that money to stay a high value man, he can't sit down and tend to you. What you're really looking for is love. What you're really looking for is validation, which you need to find within yourself. And you're thinking that you're going to get that from a high value man, because then if you've never dealt with a man who had money before, but didn't have time, but didn't have patience, but didn't have integrity, honey, but lacked having honor, he wasn't truthful. If you don't know what that's like, then you need to stop your car, pump your brakes, and have a seat. You do not want to go after a high value man who just has money. We need other things like character, because what you're going to do is you're going to pull up on this man that's high value. He's going to get you because he can, because both of y'all lacking. He's leading with his money. You're leading with your looks or whatever it is that you can get him with. You lack substance, because if you didn't, then you would need for a man to come to the table with more than just money. If you didn't, then you would understand this whole high value thing. It's like, brother, you coming over here talking about I'm a high value man, all that. I can see right through you. It's like, no, please, that's your ego, and I'm not about to deal with your ego. So y'all are meant for each other. Y'all on the same frequency, but then you're going to get with him, and you're going to see why he can provide everything that I need financially, why I don't pay any bills anymore. If I need something, I can send it to him and he'll buy it. But I'm missing intimacy. But I'm missing connection. Those are things that he's never even got, because even as a boy, most men aren't taught those things. And then when you hit the dirt, when you hit the pavement, you got to keep measuring yourself up against money and what you have, and the whole struggle that they go through with that. He hasn't taken the time to learn how to communicate, to be vulnerable, to be intimate. He don't know nothing about that. But you should not be complaining, though, because you wanted a high value man with money, and that's what he's giving you. So you got to watch when you log onto these platforms and people are profiting off your pain and they get you all worked up and they dig that knife even deeper because you haven't done your work. When they sit up here and say all this stuff, oh, Dusty, now you're being triggered because you remember the last 7 Dusties that you let in, instead of saying, let me withdraw from all these platforms that are really just opening the womb back up and let me go inside and do my work. Now, when I emerge, I'm coming out new. I don't care about Dusties. I don't worry about Dusties. I don't worry about men who aren't masculine. I don't worry about men who cannot communicate because that's not the frequency that I'm on. I would never even entertain you anyway. I'm not bothered by men that I wouldn't bother with. So it doesn't bother me that, it bothers me on a level of all of this pain. Now that I've worked through it, I really want everybody to work through it because, honey, once you heal, even the men that have been through it with the women, their mothers in their lives, men say that mothers talk to them like trash, baby mothers, grandmothers, whoever, even when you heal on the other end, you won't be doing all that complaining and all that emotional, chaotic stuff in people's comments. For women, once you heal, you won't worry about those types of men anymore. Only reason why I talk to those types of men is to pour into them. I'm not arguing with them. I could not be pulled into an argument with them. I'm going to give them what I know. I'm going to challenge some things that they say just because I know you're in a hurt place, and pain doesn't speak properly. It doesn't. Pain doesn't speak properly. So that's what you want to ask yourself about when it comes to high value men, honey. You keep going on these platforms and y'all coming to Kevin Samuels and he's giving y'all the whole look of a high value man and having on his suits and his hard bottom shoes. But if he's supposed to be a high value man, did y'all see how that high value man got that girl off the line? Do you realize that a mature man or woman does not need to curse you out like that to get you away from them? They know how to exit that space because they understand that that's not a frequency that they're on, and this presents a red flag. So I have a platform, right? Just as he does. And she definitely kept pushing and pushing. Well, can you tell me? Well, even after he told her all the things he told her. So he ended the conversation telling her, get the fuck off my line. Get the fuck. That's supposed to be a high value man right there. Do I want to deal with a man right there who doesn't know how to control his emotions? As a grown man, when you feel like you are being pushed or when you feel like you're being, poked at or agitated, you need to leave this gracefully. You don't need to be up here picking up stuff, throwing it around. Get the fuck off my kid. So that's a high value man right there. That's what y'all think is cute. That's what y'all think is cute. So you at home and you get into it with your high value man. Y'all want to have a conversation and he doesn't like what you're saying. So he's cussing and fussing and telling you, get the fuck away from me. Get the fuck. Instead of just saying, babe, right now, this is not the time to have the conversation. I would like it if we come back and do this another time. That's what y'all want. Because that's what pain would have you to believe. Let me not do my work. Let me just go ahead and cover it up by going and getting me a high value man because, I got a man with money now. But guess what? You got a man with money, but you're missing everything else. You're missing everything else. So my last thing was just do your work so you can gain a high quality life. Do your work, heal, go over those things in life that you really need to address. Why is it that you keep having these issues like for her? Why is it that you keep having these issues with these men, when they're coming and they're saying it? Now I just broke it down and I told you need to get into your feminine. Because if I'm a masculine woman, the balance would be a man that is more in his feminine. That's just the balance, right? So if I'm a woman that's more in my feminine, of course, a man that is masculine, he's going to see me. He's going to want to come into my life. He wants to do these things now because the feminine is just she is, right? And the masculine, he does. So when I'm sitting there and I'm healing and I'm doing my work and I'm emotionally mature, I know how to have a conversation. I'm not getting mad when he has to say something to me and cussing him out. I'm not talking about I'm done with this relationship when it's a problem. I'm not finding fault with everything he's doing. When he's out and about, when he comes home, doesn't have to worry about not coming to a place of peace, and he doesn't bring any of that my way either. Now we're on the same frequency. Now guess what? That is a beautiful relationship. That is a relationship of where we're free. That is a relationship of freedom right there because nobody's controlling, nobody's being critical, no one is trying to tell the other person where they supposed to be, who they supposed to be, what you don't have to do all of this compromising of yourself just to be there. That is what you call a healthy relationship. So ladies, do your work, heal. Stop going onto these platforms where people are selling you all of these, like they selling you on getting a high value man, but then they're not telling you anything else. So, okay, I got a high value man. Now what? Now what? This high value man can't have a conversation with me. If it's not about money, he don't know how to speak about it. This high value man barely hugs me. This high value man doesn't sit. I can't have intimacy with him. He don't even know what closeness is. This high value man is terrified of being vulnerable. He does not want to open up. So basically what you have is a transactional relationship. You give, you give, you get. You give, you get. That's not freedom. That's not freedom. That's a lot of stipulations on that. So do your work so you can heal. I'll be back with more videos. This is #1 video in my healing series. I have other videos, but this will be the first video of my healing series. Ladies and fellas, if y'all watch this, take from it what you may, because all of us need to do our work. All of us need to do our work. Take before I go and heal is the longer I'm prolonging my pain. And we know what it feels like to be in pain. We ain't trying to be in pain forever. So y'all have a good day. Come back and watch more videos.